Live.
All right, beautiful. Welcome back, everyone. So, unscripted, as always, just going to go off the cuff here. Chat with some people about assistants and why they're so important to your salon. It's it's funny. I'll let people load into the live here too, but it's funny because people don't want to work with an assistant because they had one bad experience, and they're basing everything off of either that bad experience or their lack of leadership. So, I just want to talk about a couple of different things when it comes to hiring an assistant, creating your assistant program, defining what your definition of done looks like, how you train them, how you teach them, and some of the things that I like to do that really worked well for me throughout the years of bringing assistants on to the team. Because without an assistant, you're always trading your time for money. You're always doing everything in the salon. And if you're in a suite and like it's so small you can't have one, or whatever rules they have, then obviously this is not going to be like the most helpful podcast. But I would urge you to leave that suite and find one that you can actually have someone help you. There's something magical that happens when you teach somebody something and you pour into them. It just helps you truly grasp the subject that you're teaching them, and it helps you really learn it better and at a completely different level. So if you want to learn something, right? If you want to really get better at a certain area of your life or a certain skill set or a technique, then try and teach it to somebody else. Like, try and help somebody else learn that thing, and it forces you to become better at it. So if you are a hairstylist right now, you're an owner, and like you're just not good at hair cutting. Like, you're really good with your clients, but you have a hard time articulating it because you kind of wing it. One of the things that has helped me become a better cutter behind the chair is having to teach my team how to cut hair. Because as I'm going through the process, I have to now figure out how I'm going to explain this to them. And as I'm doing it, I'm reinforcing certain things that I'm doing behind the chair that I'm not even made aware of. So one of the things I like to do is film yourself. Like, just film yourself cutting or coloring, whatever technique that you do. And then what you do is you do a voiceover step by step of what you're doing, extract that video transcription, upload it to ChatGPT, and have it create you the curriculum or the outline to teach that haircut to somebody else. And so that way, when you go to teach the haircut to your assistant, you have a really good outline and like a checklist, and you have all your ducks in a row on exactly how you achieve that look doing it your way. And so people get intimidated because you're not an instructor, you're not a teacher. But if you're an owner of a salon and you have an apprentice or an assistant, it's your job to mentor that person. So a couple things that I also like to do is test my assistant throughout the day. You should not just let them sweep the floor, wash the color bowls out, I don't know, roam around the salon aimlessly. You should be pulling them into every conversation, every consultation, having them take a look at your foils. Are they ready yet? Why aren't they ready yet? Did you scrape the lightener off? Do you know why it looks like it's ready, but when you scrape the lightener off, it's not ready? Whether you're using a blue base lightener or a purple base lightener, these are the conversations that you need to make sure that you're always having with an assistant. And if you do this, you're not going to miss any training opportunities. If you're busy in the salon, every single thing that you're doing is an opportunity to pour into that assistant. So you need to make sure that you're calling them over for all the little things, the little details, because eventually they're going to be on the floor. Hopefully they stay on your team, and hopefully they're going to be taking your clients over. So that frees up your time to be doing more things like growing the business. And so there's no way you can actually grow a business if you're always behind the chair doing the thing that you do, which is hair and coloring and cutting and all of that. So you have to replace yourself at that level. And that means hiring a team, building an assistant. And so if you really love your culture and you love your clients, the best thing you can do for your clients and for the industry is to train someone in your way, right? So that way your assistants are doing things, obviously their own artistic ability, but they're doing things in a way that you also do them so your clients feel comfortable. And it's not that hard. It really is not that hard. You don't need to have some kind of crazy assistant curriculum or a program. You can make this yourself. The hard part is because if you've been doing hair for 20, 30 years now and you bring an assistant, you kind of forgot a lot of stuff already. And so some things are just second nature. So that's why it's important if you could film yourself and then you could just kind of voice over and document what you're doing, because some of the little things that you don't realize you do are really important to achieving the result that you're giving to the client. And so you might miss that if you're just teaching a class off the cuff, kind of like on a whim. That's why I like to kind of pre-record yourself and watch you from step one to uh, the final section of the blowout that you're doing and the final finishing touches with the product at the end to that client walking out the door. There are certain details that you may be missing. Like, do you walk your client up to the front and do you grab the products that you used off the counter or off the reception area, whatever the hell you call it, the retail area? And that's something that you need to include in your conversation with an assistant, how they handle the exit. You know how to greet somebody, but do you actually go through the process of walking them to the front? How you professionally have someone leave the salon? Are you pre-booking? Are you at grabbing the products, the retail, all of that? So when it comes to an assistant, I don't think it's just about teaching them the cutting and the coloring. You're teaching them how to communicate. You're teaching them how to greet somebody. You're teaching them how to professionally let someone leave the salon. So there's so much that goes into it. And for every person out there who is stuck and struggling, because a lot of my content that I talk about is obviously buying back your time and growing a business and the personal economy. If you are the only person that's bringing in revenue to your salon, and if without you, it's not profitable, there's something dramatically wrong with the business. And it's either you don't think that they can do it as good as you, and that's not true because they can, because you are doing it and you learned from somebody. So you're just not really good at leading or teaching, or you think your clients won't go to anybody else. And I promise you they will. You just have to do it in a way that's smooth and effortless. So these are some things that I do that should help you out. One thing that I do is I always apply my signal processes with my assistant. And so what that means is I take the right side of the head, they take the left side of the head. So we split it down the middle. I take this side, they take that side. Reason being is I'm a lefty, so it's easier for me to apply color that way. So I just kind of work up the back of the head, pushing the hair off. They work on this side. What I do in that process is I'm watching how they apply color, taking a look at their sections, taking a look at how they're applying it. I'm also including them in the conversation. Then what we do is we cross-check. All right, switch. If they're not done yet, I just finished their section, and then I get a chance to check with the work they did. This way we're not sitting there forever. And now you can do a single process in literally 5 minutes. Now, two things happen. A, your client still feels like you're part of the service. You're not just dumping them on an assistant. B, you're able to watch. You're able to see how they're moving. And then you're able to kind of give them positive feedback on how they could get faster, what the different ways they could take sections, their body mechanics, where they're standing. And you don't do that in front of the client. Obviously, you do it in the back. But this way, now they're learning live, because there's nothing worse than being an assistant and never touching anyone's hair. Like, you went to hair school, like, get them behind the chair doing things. Now, another thing this does, it makes your client comfortable. So they have no problem when the time comes when you're backed up or they need to get squeezed in, having the assistant apply the color. And better yet, during that conversation, you can always be like, "Hey, Marcia, your hair feels dry. Does it feel dry to you?" "It does, Nick. Do you have time for a conditioning treatment today? Like, let's kind of like moisturize your hair and really like get it prepared for the winter." "Sure, I'd love that." If we do that, I like to leave it on for like 20 minutes. "Is it cool if I have Jen blow you out after we let that sit on for a little while?" "Yeah, cool. No problem. Jen can blow me out. I'll cut you dry." And so what you're doing is now she knows Jen. It's not going to be like an awkward thing where she just comes in out of the blue. She's been working with her now for maybe a couple visits, but she's at least been in the service of her, like applying color here and there, taking her down. But right then and there, you got the okay from the client to have Jen blow her out. Guess what happens? Jen is starting to get practice. Jen is learning how to blow out hair. Obviously, you want to train her to be efficient at blowing out hair. But now moving forward, she could book with Jen. Jen starts building her clientele up. And now it frees up your time rather than sitting there blowing someone's hair out for a half hour or whatever, however long it takes you. You could be applying foils, which is a $300 ticket rather than a $45 or $50 ticket. And now if you're paying Jen by the hour because she's your assistant, she does 3 or 4 blowouts a day for you. Guess what? She just paid for herself. So having an assistant is one of the most important things for you to bring into your suite or your salon. Obviously, if you're a salon, you should be bigger. You should have assistants. But how you train them and how you teach them and how you use them to leverage your time and buy it back is so important. Next area I want to talk about. James, let everyone know in the comments too if they want to drop questions. They can. We can go to Q&A after this too.
Way ahead of you, dude.
All right, beautiful. People are afraid of, of what happens when you teach your assistant and they take all your techniques and your magic potions of color and then they leave. What if you don't train your assistants and you don't train your team and they stay? What then? Then you have a shitty reputation because everyone sucks in your salon. Give everything away. Give all of it away. Teach everything you know because people are going to take it and do their own thing with it anyway. But you want to have the most efficient team. Next part of this is the thing that everyone gets wrong. And this is the one thing that I teach that really helps a lot of my owners out. You want your assistants to teach you what you taught them and also teach a class on it. Like I said before, when you want to really learn a subject or get better at something, like start to help somebody achieve that result or teach somebody how to do it, your assistant now is going to teach somebody or a newer assistant, or maybe even have them host a class for the clients how to do a blowout. Have them teach the new assistant how to do a color application, how to take down foils. When they start teaching it to somebody else, their brain is going to rewire that knowledge and really like internalize the process of how to do it. Because they're nervous, they're going to now have to work under that stress, which during a client experience could be stressful for somebody who's new. But now they're going to really internalize it. They're going to understand the reasons why they do certain steps because they have to explain it. And so instead of just going through the motions, like they're just going to copycat you and what you do, they have to verbalize why they're doing it to that other person or back to you again, which really helps them internalize the technique of the cutting, the technique of the coloring. And so that is the missing ingredient for a lot of people. Have your assistants now go teach what it is that you taught them, and your assistants will be completely efficient at everything that you show them. So that is my quick little 10-minute rant on assistants. James, let's bust out with some Q&A if we got it.
We got some Q&A. Let's see.
So many limited beliefs around this subject too. Like, and not for owners. This is more from like my independent stylists who are in a suite. Like, oh, I don't want an assistant. I like working by myself. I don't want a team. Well, guess what? You're always going to be trading your time for money. What happens if you want to take a vacation? You don't make any money, but you're still paying for that suite. Get an assistant. And then when you're gone, they can take over your clients while you're gone and you can still make money.
Nadine wants to know if you accept new clients.
I don't know. I'm not doing hair anymore. But
the salon is.
Yeah, the salon is. I mean, I may step back in there for classes if you want me to do your hair as a model. I could do that, but
the salon is always taking clients. Do you pay assistants hourly or commission while they're training?
I pay them hourly. And so while they have a column, what I do is I let them have their own column, and I want them to put all the clients that they do for me in that column so I can add it up and see what they produced for the week, for the day. So if let's say you're spending $100 a day on them, right? They're doing $15 an hour, they're working X amount of hours a day, and it comes out to be $100 a day, let's say. If their blowouts are $35, let's make it 30 to make it an easier number, and they do 3 blowouts for you, it's $90. So they cost you $10 for the day. So what you want to do is you want to keep a track on what your expenses are. If you can get your assistants to be really efficient behind the chair, at least with blowouts, they can pay for themselves. Now, at a certain point, as they get busy and they move into like a junior stylist role, now they're taking their own clients on. Whatever's greater, their commission or their hourly is what you pay them. That's how I do it. But the cool thing is, like, they'll do my blowout for my haircut, right? And then I'll have them dry the client. We did their color. She helped me apply it. So what I typically do is I'll split that commission with them in their column. Even though I'm paying them hourly, I just put $30 in there if my singles are 60, right? And then for my haircut, let's say my haircuts are $100. If their blowouts are 30, I'll throw $30 in their column for the blowout, and then 70 goes in mine. And so it allows me to kind of see how much I'm making with them, what I'm able to really leverage because they're in my world now. But I'm also able to see how expensive they are for me. Because if you're paying them by the hour and you're not doing that, you're like, oh my God, I got to pay them $400 or $500 a week, or it gets expensive in your mind. But when you actually see, wow, look at their column. They produced $1,000 worth of services this week. I only paid them $800. Wow, I'm plus 200. because they're here. It helps you really rationalize the expense of an assistant, and it makes you see like, wow, they're really not an expense. They're an asset to my salon. And so just knowing those numbers really helped me kind of just understand how many assistants I can have on the floor on a given day. That was a good question. Next question.
Lisa Dedage. I just launched a huge salon, 2 team members now. I need to grow in business and team members. What would you do? What would be the number one thing you would do in my position?
Hire me. But no, seriously. The number one thing I would do, you need to grow a team. I would get on a regular cadence every single Monday, every single Sunday. I would teach a class to the whole entire community about something you're amazing at. So think of the one service that you do better than anybody else in the world. And then I would create a curriculum around that. And I would teach that to all the hair salons and stylists and suites in the area. I would become the go-to person for education in my community, that every stylist seek me out to learn from me. And then after like 3 or 4 classes, literally you're going to have like people calling you to join your team. But in all honesty, like you have to learn how to market the proper way, like Google Ads, make sure you get your website up, make sure you get your Google business page optimized, get your local citations optimized, make sure you do all the local SEO. So no matter where anyone goes on the internet or AI, they put in best hair salon in whatever town you're in, you're going to pop up. That's the first thing I would do. Well, one of the many first things I would do. You know, there's a lot. But honestly, if you need help, like to get from point A to point B, I've done it multiple times in my career, from going from 0 salons to 5 salons. And it's not hard to build up. I'm in the process of doing it again. You guys are going to watch my content change from like doing the more coaching content. I'm going to show you exactly what kind of content you should be producing to attract stylists into your salon, because it's really not you reaching out to them. If your content is dialed in to a point where stylists see it and like, wow, I want to join that team, then you're not looking for them. They're finding you. And that's what you want to happen. There's a salon who does this really well in our area. We're in New Jersey. Shout out to Soraya. She does a great job with social media and her content. She's like a couple towns over at East Coast Salon, and her content's fire. Like, I hate the word fire, but it's fucking awesome. And she shows this culture, and she's got like great images, and she does a really good job of attracting stylists to be in her world. So I really commend her on that. She does a great job. She's good at social media anyway, but yeah, she does a great job at that.
You also forgot to mention that you've also helped hundreds of other salon owners to do the exact same thing.
Literally, like I mean, I can just the other day I had a conversation with hair salon owners in my program, and I think it was like seven of them in the past 2 months completely booked their salon with stylists. It wasn't hard at all through that same method I just told you. Now they're not worried about anything. It's really the easiest thing to do in the world. Next question.
We got Hair Dynamics.
What up, Jay?
Pay structure for an assistant / stylist kind of transition.
Yes, hourly plus commission. So whatever's greater. That's it. $15 an hour. We're in Jersey. I know you're in Jersey. I mean, you really can't live on $15 an hour. It's enough to get them some food and gas to go to the salon. It's also like having the commission structure in there too, gives them something to strive for. And so if you pay them $15 an hour, let's say their weekly pay would be $500. If they booked $1,000 that week, their pay is $500, right? Because it's a 50-50 split. If their commission is $1,200, then their paycheck will be $600, right? 50-50 split. And so you give them the opportunity to still be making money, but they have to grind and hustle, because you can't live on $15 an hour, at least not where we are. That's why I do it. And that's why it's important for you as an owner to be the busiest person in your salon. This way you can feed your staff. I mean, there's a point in time, like when my salon was full behind me, I would walk in and every single client in the chair was one of my clients that I used to do. And I was able to give them to a team of 12 off my own back. That's how busy I was. Getting busy in this industry is not hard to do at all. Like if you're struggling finding clients, then we need to have a different conversation if you're an owner. All right, James, next question.
Lisa followed up and said, okay, online or local teaching?
If you live local, then you could pop in here and you can learn. But it's an online community.
I think about finding the stylists.
Oh, you do that local. You do it in your salon. And stream it live. Do both. teach the class live, get a good mic up and do it live. But you're going to have them come into the salons. The reason why you want them to come in is so you could check them out. You're doing interview process. They have no idea. Like, you want to check them out. Like, how do you show up? Do you come dressed? Do you look like who did it and ran? Do you look like a wreck? Are you on your phone the whole time? Are you paying attention? Are you asking good questions? Are you somebody I want to have in my salon? I can feel your energy too. I can't feel that on Zoom. Like, so it's almost like a mini interview process. This is by far the easiest way to build a team.
We got Hair by Lacey. What do you feel is the best advertising? Because I'm overpaying Yelp, Google, Instagram, Facebook.
I don't like Yelp anymore. Yelp used to be pretty good. And the best advertising is a combination of Google and Facebook, Meta. I think everyone should have a Shopify store personally, but what you do is you run if you don't have one, I'll give you both scenarios. Run either search campaigns or run PMAX campaigns or shopping campaigns, right? One of those products. You're going to run it. I personally like running it for products because someone doesn't know you exist yet. So what they do is they look up Amika or Alorum or whatever brand you sell, Shibui, Orbe. And then what happens is they come across your website because you have products on there. Then when they come to your website, either to learn about that product through a blog that you wrote or because of the product ad itself, you get their IP address, right? You get a pixel from Google and from Facebook. And so what happens is when you tag that visitor to your site, you now get to chase them around the internet, as long as they don't have you like a VPN or something where you can't do that with. But now your ads on Instagram and Facebook, what you do is you do retargeting campaigns. So if they purchase the product, beautiful. Now they're in your world. You could send them an email. You can send them a gift card. If they're not, you get a chance to now re-show them your content on Facebook. So the intent is Google. Hey, what's the best hair salon near me? Where do I find this product? Whatever that may be. They click on that. They come to your website. You now lock them in your world. Then from there, you retarget to them through Meta. And that's how you build the trust now. Because now they're seeing your work. They're watching your videos. They're learning from you. And if they did buy a product, you can send them a blog, a newsletter, whatever you have. And so it's a combination of those two is how you do it. I literally have like a 4 or 5 video section in the community on that. I just did one too on Facebook call ads because Facebook now is tracking how long each person is on the phone when they call from your ad, which allows them to see who is the best person to serve your ads to based on how long they're on the phone for. Because pretty much if you're on the phone longer, then what happens is they're probably a good client and they're booking an appointment. And so the Facebook call ads are phenomenal right now. Those are doing really well in my salons.
We have Creative Impressions. I have young 3 assistants still in high school in cosmetology. I'm going to start having hands-on classes for them once a month on specific service. Once they master that, do you recommend them taking classes? That was difficult to read.
Yeah. So here's the deal. In today's times, they should be becoming obsessed with learning. So it's the Blonde Chronicles. There's how many other good lessons out there? You got
Nick Mirabella.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about techniques, James. Chanel, Jacob Kahn. There's so many good people out there on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. Free salon education. They should be studying it. You should give them an itinerary of what they need to learn every single day. Watch 10 or 20 minutes of a cutting video or a coloring video. There's no reason why it should take them 6 months to be efficient. Like, you can fast track their success. And what I would do is, like I said earlier in the podcast, is don't do like once a month. Make every single day a learning experience. Here's what I would do with them. It's mandatory. They have to ask you 3 questions at the end of every shift. Hands down. You have to make that a non-negotiable. And put it in a Google Doc, whatever thing you have, notes on your iPhone. They have to take 3 pictures of that question. So if you're doing a haircut, you're over-directing in a weird way, snap a picture or take a video, and then that goes with the question. This serves a couple of different purposes, guys. Take some notes here. I'm giving away the secret sauce here. Now your assistant has the question written down, plus you have context to that question. So if they ask you the question, like, hey, you were doing Barbara's hair, you were doing this thing where you lifted it up and you stepped over to the other side of it, and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, no. Look, see right here, You see how like you walked around her head? Oh, I over directed her hair and I'm actually cutting shorter to longer because my scissors push the hair, and you're able to explain why. She has a cowlick right here, and when she blows her hair out, for whatever reason, it lifts up. So I'm over directing it so the shorter hair pushes to the longer hair, and it doesn't create a gap when she styles her hair. Now you have the video. Guess what you have now? You have the ability to take that video, use that as content for your Instagram or your social media, and the question becomes the hook to let other people know if they're dealing with this issue, this is how you fix it. It also lets other stylists know, hey, if you have a client with this. So what does that do? It allows you to become the authority in your area, because not only are you teaching stylists, but you're teaching clients that, hey, if you have this problem, I'm the best salon to come to. Your assistant's learning, and guess what you do with the Google Doc? At the end of the year, or however long your training is, you take that thing, you throw it in ChatGPT, take all the videos. Now you have your own internal curriculum that you can give to the next people that come up, from the assistant program. Welcome, everyone. That is your free bit of information today. That's the kind of stuff we go over in the community, how to really make your salon modern and not waste your time training people on designated days. Every single thing is a learning experience.
Jukar Jukesir Janika, do you recommend paying ads every week or month, or organic reach is better?
How busy do you want to be? Daily ads, like if you have no money, okay? Here's the deal. This is a strategy that I want everyone to adopt for ads and for organic content. If you have money, then you should be spending X amount of dollars per day on your ads. But you have to use your organic content that does really well. Don't advertise content that sucks, because if no one liked it when it was free, no one's going to like it when you disrupt their feed with it. So make sure you're using organic content, whatever you have in your feed that's doing really well. Then you put some fuel on that fire and you promote it. I would use a Facebook business manager or the ads manager for that. I want to just go on Instagram and do it. But if you do go on Instagram, do it from the desktop, not from your phone. If you have an iPhone, you'll pay more money. Now, there's a mathematical equation here. There's a return on ad spend. There's a customer acquisition cost. If you're spending $100 a day on ads, okay, but you're bringing in $1,000 a day worth of new business, guess what? You run that every day until you can't take on any more clients. Now, if you don't have the $100 a day to at least test the ads out with, then you need to do 100 outreaches a day. So if you reach out to 100 people a day in your community who are engaging with your social media, your stories, your post, then it's the equivalent of you running $100 a day. Now, if you're a beast, you run $100 a day and you do 100 outreaches a day, and you will fill your books like that. But you want to make sure you are advertising the right type of services, so that when you do acquire that customer, if it costs you $20 because of all the ad spend that you did to acquire one customer, that's called your customer acquisition cost. And let's say you're doing it for an extension that's $500, then you made the money. If you're doing it for a blowout, that's $30 and it costs you $20, you're losing money, because you give your commission to your stylist, it's $15, and now you're short $5, right? So you got to make sure you're promoting the right services here. Hope that helped. If you guys want to learn about ads, I can do a whole masterclass on ads too. But in my community, we go through Google ads, Facebook ads. I don't really touch on TikTok too much, but the targeting on Google and Facebook is second to none. But you got Pinterest ads too. You have Reddit ads. Like Reddit's nothing to sleep on either. Like if you really want to become a marketer, start different Reddit feeds, or what are they called, James? Reddit forums, chats. Threads. There you go. Start a Reddit thread about the best hair salon in Fairfield, New Jersey, from a dummy account, and then fire that thing up, and then you drop your salon in there, and then you just start changing the title of it after it gets some traction. Like you can do a lot of fun stuff with Reddit, because Reddit's being indexed by AI a lot. But everything you do, you have to have an understanding that the AI search marriage is happening. So whether ChatGPT takes over Google or Google takes over ChatGPT, they're not going to take each other over, but who's going to win that race of getting information to people? Now ChatGPT has the ability you can ask it questions about hair products, and guess what happens? It serves your salons, if you have a Shopify store, its products. Now people can click and buy through ChatGPT conversation. When it comes to Google, like you see the AI snippet on the front, like in the first top of the feed. So now if you're being indexed by Google organically, you're going to be showing up before the ads. So if you're just not optimized for AI, you're not thinking like that, like you have to change your thought process. AI is not going anywhere. It's going to change how we look for things. It's going to be implanted in every device that we have to the point where we're going to have our phone and be like, hey, Siri, she's going to listen to me now, or hey, whatever AI, like I need a blowout today. Can you check the top? Can you check the top salons in the 5 mile radius? Tell me which ones have the best ratings and which one and what style it gets mentioned the most for blowouts. And then all of a sudden, oh yes, I found the Warehouse Salon in Fayetteville, New Jersey, and Nick is the best for blowouts. Would you like me to book an appointment? Please see if they have any available at 1 o'clock. Nick's not available at 1 o'clock, but Jessica is. Book it. Yes, book it. And that's going to happen like that. But if your salon isn't optimized for that, like you don't have your booking software linked with your website, linked to AI, you're not even going to come up. So how are you going to build your assistants when they get on the floor if you're not forward thinking with what's going on today? And trust me, it's happening. It's like 20 years ago when everyone's like, oh, you don't need a website. Yeah, you do. I'm not going to use social media. How am I going to get clients from that? Guess what? If you don't have it, no clients are finding you. So listen, don't be behind on this. Be in front of it. I have clients right now, clients in my community, members of my community, that people are finding them on ChatGPT now because of how we structure their website. So do not be left behind on this. This is why I do this. For some people who just can't afford coaching, like I'm here, I want to help as many people as I can. Like, so don't just listen to this shit and like, oh, cool, I'm going to go now, finish my haircut. No, listen to it, take notes, and then take some action. If you want some extra help, shoot me a DM. I'd love to help you. James, next question.
What are some red flags that an assistant might not be cut out for this industry?
Victoria's watching this. You want to take off every other Saturday. That's a red flag. Listen, there's a lot of red flags. It's their work ethic, but the red flags happen in your interview process, right? Name 3 people you admire and why. And then based on those answers, you can really tell a lot about a person. So that should be part of your interview process. But how they respond to criticism. And when I say criticism, I mean like you trying to help them learn, because you're going to have to critique them because they really don't know anything yet. If they complain, if everything's a negative, if every obstacle is an obstacle and they have the non-growth mindset, a fixed mindset, like they can't, oh, I'm just not good at that. I'm never going to learn. If they don't want to learn new things, oh, no, I don't want to cut hair. I just want to do color. I just want to do lived in color. No, you have to learn how to cut hair in the beginning. The reason why you have to learn how to cut hair is if you're going to color hair effectively, and that's all you want to do, that's fine. But if you don't know how the haircut's going to lay, how can you effectively color the hair? It's a yin and yang. And so when you have someone who's like, no, I'm going to find my niche and I'm just going to do this. Listen, you don't have a lane in the beginning. So your assistants need to be open-minded and they need to be like a sponge and suck everything in. And the word no honestly should not exist within reason, right? You don't have to clean the toilet bowls and like, you want them to have a backbone, but you don't want them to be like, you want them to be open to everything. They can take what's useful, make it their own, discard the rest. That's what they need to do. You need to have people who are open to everything. And the second they start closing things off because they watch some influencers say, no, you should be specializing in something, who spent their whole career learning everything, but then specialized after 20 years of doing hair. Yeah, you know how to do everything. Stop giving that advice to people. So that's a red flag. When they come in late, that's a red flag. If they don't show up 100% of themselves, like they start getting ready in the salon, that's a red flag. They don't respond to the group chats with your team, like even with a thumbs up, that's a red flag. They're always looking at the clock to get out of there. That's a red flag. Like you have a schedule 9 to 5, let's say 5 o'clock, they leave when there's shit to be done in the salon. That's a red flag. This industry is not like, there's no time in our industry. Every single person on watching this right now, whether you're watching the live or the podcast, how many times have you told your significant other, I'll be done at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. I'm going to be home for dinner. It's 8 o'clock. You're still in the salon. That's happened numerous times to a lot of people. I promise you. And if not you, then God bless you. I don't know what you did in this industry, but you're pretty perfect. There's no exit. There's a time to come in the salon and the time you leave is like ish. I might leave at 4-ish. I might leave at 5-ish. It depends on how my client lifts. It depends on if her divorce went through okay, and I got to listen to another hour story from her. There's a lot of variables that dictate when you leave. So if they're looking at the clock to get out of there, that's a red flag. I'd love to do a whole red flag thing.
We'll do some red flag content.
Here, you want to see if assistant's good or not? Here's what you do. This is what happened to me. I went in for an interview years ago, Hair Visions, and Linda, love her. I love her. She's in Florida right now. Hopefully Linda's watching this on Facebook. But I went in the salon, I think it was like a Wednesday or something, or a Thursday, put in my application. She's like, no, we're not looking for assistants, but I'll take your number anyway. For whatever reason, that Friday night, I did not go out. And I got a phone call at like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. It was early. I'm a pretty early riser anyway. It was Linda. Hey, Nick, any chance you can come in and help us out today at the salon? Sure. When do you need me? When can you get here? I'll be there in a half hour. Got dressed, took a shower, got ready, went to work. I got hired that day. Within a few months, I was still in hair school now. I was still in hair school. A few months later, the owner pulled me aside and he was like, hey, Nick, any chance you want to do hair today? Like so-and-so was sick. I was like, I'll take their clients. No idea what I was doing. Put me behind the chair. Then end of the day, he's like, hey, do you want to do clients a couple days a week? Sure. I'm like, I'm not even a senior on the floor yet in hair school. And so when you want to test an assistant out, take their application in, call them on a Saturday morning at 6 a.m. Be like, hey, can you work today? If they say yes, they're a dynamite worker. If they don't pick up or ghost you, guess what? They're not a good team member. Listen, there's obviously reasons that, but if reasons about that story, but more than likely, if they pick up the phone and they're like, oh, no, I can't today, work is not a priority to them. To me, that was a priority. Like I have someone who just applied at my salon a week ago. I shot her a text. She wants to work Monday through Friday and she doesn't want to work weekends. I shot her a text. I got no answer. My other partner called, no answer. I'm never hiring you. Like you're not going to work for me anymore. You have no respect, no communication. So that's another thing that you want to you want to really look out for, how they communicate with you. But I'm fired up today.
I could see that. Another thing that might get you fired up. Cool little thing that Anthony just showed me. He came out and said one of the products that you're selling on the website got sold to somebody in Antarctica.
Oh wow, it's awesome.
That's wild. Hair by Lacey. Most of my stylists are booth rent and they're complaining about being slow, but obviously the money I spend on ads doesn't make me additional money, but I don't want stylists to leave because they're slow.
So do better organic SEO. So it's almost free. Do something with them where you have non-negotiables. Another thing you could do is part of their rent. Like if I had 10 renters and I had a rental salon, I'd be like, your rent is $200 a week, let's say, or it's $250 a week. And we run $50 worth of that budget goes to ads for you. And we show you how the ads work. And we're going to run a $10 a day, 5 days a week campaign, which is the $50 a week. Ding, 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 math. And then you're going to run an Instagram or a Facebook or a Meta campaign, whatever you want to call it, for that stylist. I would create their own Google business page. I would dial them in. Like you got to be your coaching clients, right? You got to make them your client so they're busy and they stay and they can actually afford to pay rent. But that's what I would do. If their rent is $200, make it $250, run an ad for $10 a day to that person on their Instagram. You manage it for them and then they're busy and they stay. That's how I would do it. If people don't want to participate in that, then they pay $200. And then they will look at the people who are paying the $250. And if you do it with your salon account collectively, you'll get everyone busy, right? It will be a good thing to do. That's how I would do it. If you want more information, Lacey, do me a favor, hit me up. I think we were chatting in the DMs anyway. But if I had a rental salon, I would blow these people up. There's no upside for an owner. Like I like it to be a win-win. When you have a rental salon, it's like it's win-lose. Most of the time, the owners lose and the stylists win. It needs to be win-win. That's why I like the rev share model that you always hear me talk about, the independent commission stylist. But it's really a rev share split. Each one of your stylists partner up with the salon, and you guys split the revenue. The owner does the marketing, gets the color, puts the money out, handles the front desk. There's a third party that handles the money as a fiduciary. Money gets dispersed every day to each party, and everyone wins. James, how are we doing on time here?
We got What should assistant never do behind the chair?
Answer a text. Talk about drama in the salon. Tell them how tired they are. Gossip about the stylist. Like there's a million things they should never do behind the chair. But there's an etiquette. So in my handbooks, I have like an assistant handbook that describes how they greet people, how they talk to people, how they shampoo, how they recommend products. They have to learn it's about the client, not about them. And so an assistant's kind of new. They love to like vent and talk about certain things that just shouldn't be talked about in the salon. They have to learn that. Don't forget, these are kids, right? They're like 18 years old. And they grew up in an era where like communication is not their strong suit. So they were communicating through like a TikTok and a Messenger and Snapchat. So they don't really know how to speak human to human a lot of times. It sucks, but it's kind of your job because it's your salon. So yeah, I would really make sure that the communication and the conversations that are happening are exactly what you want them to be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're wrapped up. James, we wrapped up on questions?
We have one last one. Bang Hair GR. Is there rev share when you hit a certain amount?
Yeah, it's a rev share. It's the whole thing's. It's a revenue share. So you hit $1,000, we're splitting that revenue. 500 for you, 500 for me. He had 2,000, then it's going to be 1,200 for you, 800 for me. Right? It's between you and that stylist. Just like law firms, right? There's a revenue share from lawyers who bring in business. They get a split. The firm gets a split. It's the same exact way. If you guys want to learn more about the rev share model that I invented, because I think I invented it, shoot me a DM. I got like a whole Google Doc that breaks it all down for you. And I'm redoing the class. If you're in my community watching this, I'm redoing the whole entire lesson again. And we're going to restructure the trust that we set up. We're going to restructure the whole format because with the new PRO Act, I think it's a little more strict with the AB5 or the ABC ruling. There's a lot of things now that are happening in our country, at least for America, that we need to kind of tweak. Now it works in Canada, it works in Australia, it works in every country, it works in Ireland. You just have to structure it the right way. It's not when you talk to your accountants, it's not, hey, is this legal or is this possible? What needs to be true about this scenario so it is legal and compliant? And then you just make those things true. So hope that was an informative podcast for you. We kind of talked about assistance and we ran a couple of rants, but Q&A was really good. Guys, make sure you're following. Excuse me. Make sure you're following on YouTube. Click subscribe. If you don't follow me on Instagram yet, head over to Instagram. Got a lot of great content on there. And we could chat about any of the issues you have. If you're interested in growing your salon, Level Up Academy, go to nickmarabella.com. Check it out. I got some good blogs in there, some good information. Don't mind the AI images. We're working on that right now. We're tweaking our little thumbnails, really playing with AI. But yeah, I got a newsletter. Sign up to it. Free information to your inbox on a daily basis. Don't miss that. I think when you join the newsletter, you get like a 6-email series that gets sent out to you to help you out. Next Monday, 10 o'clock in the morning, we're doing a Shopify masterclass. For those of you who have zero idea about Shopify and you think you know what it is, but you don't know what it is, we're going to teach you all the ins and outs about how you can make that work. And the following Friday, we're doing a pricing masterclass. These are going to be live. They're going to be open. So put them in your calendar. Everyone, you guys are great. Thanks for the questions. See you all later.